Hey, it's Sexuality Empowerment Coach Heather Elizabeth, and I hope you all have been enjoying your International Masturbation Month, also known as May. I definitely have, and it's been sparking a lot of really interesting conversations about masturbation with people this month. And one of the topics that kind of, comes up over and over again is the idea of too much masturbation, because this is a thing people are concerned about for various reasons, right? And often people want a number or some kind of threshold where it's like, okay, not okay. Like if you do it once a day, you're fine, but 3 times a day is too much, or 50 times a month is too much. And they're trying to kind of parse this level out. But I'm no help because I personally don't think there's any sort of threshold around that. That's not to say that masturbation can't actually cause some troubles in your life, but when we're talking about too much, it's a more complicated question than some random number that's been pulled out of a hat. So what I actually like to do is to give people some tools to think critically about what is too much for them and why it might even potentially be a problem in their life. So number one, who is telling you that you're masturbating too much? If it's coming from a source external to you, like your friends, your lovers, maybe your family members, the church, anything like that, number one, that's already a red flag for me, right? Because masturbation is like kind of the ultimate personal expression of sexuality. So why is anyone else trying to tell you anything about it? So that's my second question. What are they trying to get from you? Um, a lot of forces external to us try and control our sexuality, right? Maybe it's a friend telling you that you masturbate too much and you should be going out and getting laid. And that's not actually where you're at and where you want to be at with your sexuality, but your friend is trying to present, the normative model of sexuality to you. And I have compassion and sympathy for people who are presenting that because it's what people know, right? And that's often how we measure what's healthy versus unhealthy. If it looks like what we know, we consider it healthy. If it looks like what we don't know, we consider that unhealthy. But that is an outdated belief that we don't have to carry with us anymore. We can consider different ways about what denotes healthy versus unhealthy. So yeah, is it someone who's trying to force you into a sexuality box that you don't want to be into? What if it's a partner who is telling you masturbate too much or expressing concern that you masturbate too much because what they are actually trying to say is, I want to share this part of your sexuality and I feel like it's being hidden away from me. Well, that's an entirely different conversation, right? Just as a partner saying, I'm not sexually satisfied, and you masturbating all the time means you don't have any sexual energy left to connect with me. That's a different conversation. So, first questions, who's telling you and what are they trying to get from you? And then, base your thinking and your conversations from that place. If it's you telling yourself that you're masturbating too much, I'm really curious about why you're saying that and where your motivation's coming from. Are you working from outdated scripts that you grew up with? That masturbation's wrong, that it's a sin, that you're going to hell, or it's a dirty thing, or it's an immature expression of sexuality. If it's any of those reasons, then check your belief system and see whether or not that's still a belief you want to carry in your adult life. Um, there are some practical reasons behind masturbating too much, and these can also come from internal. So if the reason you think you're masturbating too much is you're concerned that routine is becoming habit, because you are absolutely right that no human being's hand is going to be able to match the vibration level of your Hitachi, and a butt, a pussy, any of those things, they are not going to match the type of grip you can get with your hand. So if you are only masturbating the same way all the time, that actually definitely can have practical implications on your sex life. But the way to deal with that isn't necessarily to stop cold turkey. It's to vary your routine, to sometimes use toys, sometimes not use toys, sometimes use lube, sometimes not use lube. Try different grips, try different hands, try different positions. The more variety you can bring to your own masturbation routine, the less you become dependent on that as your only way to orgasm. Practical reason number 2 is what I call procrastination. And that's when you're using self-pleasure to avoid doing the things you ought to do. And you know, some people actually use that as a marker of sex addiction. Me, not so much, because can I tell you something about me? I'm a procrastinator. I'm also a procrastinator. There are so many things in life that, you know, I don't love doing. Filing my taxes, writing reports, doing the dishes, making my bed. There are so many things I would rather be doing than those things. And so I distract myself in all sorts of ways, right? Sometimes that's through self-pleasure. Sometimes that's through going on Facebook and playing Farmville. Sometimes that's going grocery shopping. You know, even the things you have to do in life, the gym, grocery shopping, cleaning your house, they become procrastination if you're using them to avoid something else. So if masturbation has become a thing that you've started using to avoid something else, you know, check yourself around that, because the problem isn't actually too much masturbation, it's the procrastination and the things not getting done that actually need to get done. And that's not sex addiction, that's just life. So yeah, so that's what I think, and I'm really curious to know, as always, what you guys think about things, and I hope you'll share them with me or any of your May experiences in the comments below, or you can always email me, Heather@AuthenticSexualYou.com. Otherwise, I'll talk to you next week.